G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in over on the east side of the map, playing in the color teal as the Chinese. We've got Crackety here. And on the west side of the map, playing as the Ottomans in the color blue, we've got Sword. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lipany. This map is known for the very mild, I guess is probably the best way to say, the very mild cliffs that it does spawn. Often you can get kind of unfortunate spawns where all of the cliffs, apologies, there we go. All of the cliffs kind of spawn together and you get this massive line. But it doesn't look like it's spawned that way today. It's quite an open map. We do see some pretty nice expansion in the middle here for China. So I'd expect that we might even look to see a Barbican out of him early on. Now, let's talk a little bit about this matchup because this is quite an interesting matchup. Now, I think that the way that you probably want to open this as the Ottomans is just one base. And I've got a theory about the way that Ottomans are going to evolve. So essentially my thinking is that Ottomans are probably going to be moving towards a type of fast castle playstyle. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be, aiming for fast castle or castle ages at 7 minutes, that sort of thing. But I think it's probably going to be around like 10, 11 minutes. You want to try and really hit that timing just so you can start maximizing the efficiency that you gain from your landmarks. So, of course, we're talking about the Mehmed Imperial Armory. In my opinion, a lovely landmark, one of the best landmarks that you can get. It just synergizes very well with the Ottomans as a civ. But we'll check in over on Sword's side and see how he's going as he begins to add in a little bit of villagers onto gold. So not going to be an early barracks here. So he's going to obviously open with the military school. Against China, I think this is a pretty safe bet. Hopefully, what we see from him is aggression on that gold mine. There's a lovely gold mine out the front, so aggression should be there. And we do see we've got also the mill coming down for Crackety here next to the town center. So this is something that I've talked about and theory crafted about, and this is by far the best way to do it. You're going to be able to survive on this mill. I mean, look how many sheep he's got right here. You can expect that this mill is probably going to last Crackety until maybe the 9th minute, 10th minute. Depends on how many sheep he picks up, but single scout, so you're not going to get a huge amount of sheep, but this is still pretty damn good. 8 sheep, I'll take that trade. And then we can see he's probably got about 3 sheep under there, and you continue to hear more sheep getting picked. Is that 10 now? Yeah, 10 sheep. So he's picked up more than half of the total sheep. And interestingly, maintaining a pretty strong presence here on wood. So I don't know exactly what this is about, what the plan is. I guess playing against the Ottomans, maybe he's a little bit fearful of that early aggression. He hasn't scouted out a whole bunch of the Ottoman base. He doesn't actually see what's happened. But interestingly, we don't see any sort of, we don't see any barracks coming down. We don't see any mining camp coming down. So just looking to really play it quite defensively at the moment. But he is starting to pick up that golden, even more sheep coming in now for him. But we do begin to see Sword moving in with the single spearman. Now, one of the adaptations that we are really yet to see coming out from the Ottomans is an outpost opening. And this is kind of wild, but like, I would suspect maybe you want to try and play them like the Mongols. I reckon that could actually be pretty good. So almost like play them the exact same way that you would play the Mongols. The only difference is that when you get to Castle Age, I mean, you're just relying on those free units, right? So I think that could be an interesting playstyle, but it is going to be the Twin Minaret Madrasa that comes up for him. A little bit of a gap right here between it and the town center, but I will accept this. I think this is still a pretty good spot here for Sword. Would have loved to have had it right up against the town center or as close as he can get, but it's not always possible. But you can see he's doing a little bit of a patrol right here on the gold, so he's doing the right thing, playing aggressive next to that gold. I think the question is, where does he look to convert once he gets into the feudal age? Because there's a number of different ways you can go against the Chinese. Number 1, it's going to be our second town center. Number 2, early aggression and just continued aggression. The Ottomans love to do that, and I think it's probably the best way for them. So hopefully that's what we see out of Sword. We'll have a look, though, on Crackety's side, though, as he is just... What is going on right now? Look at the resources Crackety is stacking up here. We've got 700 food, 300 wood in the bank for him. What is he doing right now? I mean, I can very clearly see what he's doing. He's collecting up tax for the purpose of aging up, and so now he's going to actually have enough for it, but moving a lot of villagers out here, so it looks like it might be a forward Barbican that he's going for. We do see the villagers were moving out towards that west side, but it's just going to cancel it for the moment. Barbican is going to come down, so he's a very smart place for the Barbican. On top of the boar, gets the hunt as well. Just got to be careful, because if this gets lured over towards you, which is definitely a possibility, then you could be in a little bit of trouble. But fortunately, you can see right now, look at this. Sword just sitting on all the resources, but there's nobody at home whatsoever. So pretty smart move right there from Crackety to recognize that this would be coming out. But we do see stone being taken, 6 villagers moving out, with the Imperial official going to be moving out here as well. 7th villager, 8th villager. Oh my lord, that's a lot of villagers. 10 villagers coming out, so he's really rushing this one up. What kind of build order are you unleashing on us right now, Crackety? This is not something I've seen before. Just going to be looking to try and avoid taking too much damage here. Age Up does come through, going to intercept some of the reinforcements. Unfortunately, that spearman, or looks like it will survive. Very fortunate there for Sword, but only a little bit of health remaining. Second spear going to come in. Great micro there from Crackety, and you've got to be careful with this spear. You can potentially surround them, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Town Center takes a shot as well. Beautiful micro there from Crackety. You've always got to be so careful with your spears as the Ottomans early on. Sure, they're for free. You get them for free, but just one surround, and they're all down. But now, once again, look at the way he's pulling these vills back, and you can see now Sword's going to be so careful here. But it looks like the stone is coming through slowly but steadily. Second town center for Crackety is on route. He needs to pull these vills back way too low. Scout going to be coming out here. I think he's trying to bait the spear towards that town center, and you can see he pulls it in. Town center also going to get the shot off, so just Sword not really paying attention right there. And now it's so low that, well, the town center is going to finish it off. Beautiful job there by Crackety. Plenty of vills up over here on gold. What's going on in Crackety's mind right now? What is he planning? So he's picked up the 353 stone. 6 minutes into the game, so it's still pretty early on here. But obviously, things haven't gone perfectly for him. When we see him moving out now to take a mill in the middle of, or drop a mill down in the middle of the map, and the boar also going to be here. So we see the villagers. Oh, it's a bit unfortunate on the timing there. He's going to have to pull these vills back away from this, and you can see the scout also coming in, but he's going to do pretty okay here, I suspect, as long as that villager doesn't go down. I think it made it alive, and oh, we could see there was an attempt at the boar snipe right there. He tried his best. Sword tried to deny the boar there. Barbican fortunately fired down on that boar and did secure the kill, but he was going for it, and that would have yeeted the 2,000 food off the map. You know, I really don't like that mechanic at all. I hope the developers watch this video and see just how stupid that is to have, you know, you've got Crackety basically playing his entire style around potentially getting that boar, and then for it just to be deleted off the map just because your enemy got a last hit. I think it's very silly. Very, very silly. But anyway, second town center now going to come down as well for Crackety. Still yet to hit that Imperial Academy, but there it is. It is coming up. So I spoke too soon. Let's take a look over on Sword's side of the map and see what he is planning to go to. So we've got archery range, double military school. Now, does he have double broad axe? He doesn't have double broad axe. So I like the fact that he's left 2 villagers on gold. And I think this is probably something we're going to start seeing a lot from our Ottoman players, just to try and pick up those early upgrades. But he's going to go into siege engineering with it. He did also pick up wheelbarrow, but I feel like double broad axe is probably better than wheelbarrow, because you can see he's replacing his lumber camps. So the wheelbarrow, yeah, it's important, but it's not as important as that double broad axe. And that's really what you're all playing. That's the whole way you're playing the Ottomans. It's all about taking advantage of your archer balls that you can really generate. But now the first of the battering ram is going to be coming out here. A very early battering ram. And I think this is a bit of a curious decision, because for me, I feel like there is such thing as a battering ram that comes too early. And the reason why it's going to come too early is because this Barbican is going to be able to keep all of the archers back. You'd be kind of crazy to put the archers underneath the Barbican just because of how strong that Barbican is, but he is making a second battering ram, so there is the potential for a powerful push right now. We're right on board with Sword back in the base. We'll see what he's rallying to. He's going out to wood, so doing the right thing here. We do see double broad axe coming in now, so a little bit delayed on that double broad axe, but still better to have it around this timing than not at all. It's starting to remind me of kind of like the English playstyle that we're seeing, in a third battering ram coming down. Okay, all right, I can get behind this Sword. Sword really going quite ham at the moment. A lot of villagers on wood production. You can see the power of that Ottoman Empire when it comes to the early aggression. By the same token, Crackety on the defensive. We see a barracks coming out. No archery ranges just yet for Crackety. So he's playing into a huge archer ball composition. Look at the archers that are out here, and he's making at this stage, only spearmen, but I suspect that's probably going to be an archery range. It is indeed an archery range going to be coming down, so he's going to be moving into Chukunu. It just makes sense. Oh, stable. Never mind. I guess it doesn't make sense at this point. So going to be really looking to play. This is the same sort of combo that you would play against, say, the French or the Rus, something like that. But look at this, 3 battering rams coming in at 9 minutes. This is very difficult to deal with at this point in the game, because you can look to try and siege them down with your villagers, but it's going to be very difficult. And you can see Archer's going to be moving forward. Now the battering ram is going to be taking the majority of the fire, at least initially. Villagers fall back. He's going to need something to siege this down. He might, you know what? He might just be giving up this position. Boar's had 1,000 taken out of it so far. Battering ram's going to be able to take down the first of the Barbicans, and already we can see Sword with a really nice opening here, but he is going to bait, or he's going to hit the units there. Manages to take out the first of the archers. So nice little job, but we do see that it is going to be the meta bonus that's come through, so he's receiving that extra movement speed from the meta for grouping it together. So very nice. I'd almost be tempted to pick up the meta here as well, but it's got a lot of health though, and you can see he does get a shot on it. Sparky also coming out, being rallied in, so beautiful production position at the moment, and it's going to be double stable coming out from Crackety here. Have a look at this, and he's double supervising into the second town center as well. This is so smart. Very difficult for your enemy to spot this one out, but obviously there is is there a scout here? I don't actually think there is a scout. Yeah, there might not be a scout here. We do see a landmark victory now approaching for Sword. So that means he's taken out the first of the landmarks. 2 more landmarks to go. Obviously still quite a ways away to get through all of his enemy forces, but look at the amount of wood that's stacking up for him at the moment. Only 8 villagers on food, so you'd love to see a few more villagers moved over to food. And keep in mind, even if he runs out of food, he's still got access to Anatolian hills if he needs it. +1 ranged armor also coming in. Yet to pick up the ranged attack at this point, but plenty of horsemen out on the battlefield now. He falls back away from this position. Keep in mind the meta here, going to be buffing up the movement speed, so these archers are going to be able to kite away from the fight. But that should be a bit of a read right now, and you'd expect it to have a barracks drop down immediately on the other side of the map, and indeed that's what it's going to be. Also a town center going to be going down. A second blacksmith getting dropped in here as well. Let's see if he switches these over. Yeah, he's actually got one of them on the spearman. So he is producing spearmen at the moment, so it's double Spahi and a single spearman. But as soon as you see that many horsemen, you just know your enemy's almost all in on horsemen. So as long as you just start reacting with spears immediately, you should be fine. The big thing is that you don't want to be pushing right now. This is not the right time to push, because if you push, you've got a big force that you could potentially lose, and you've got no spears to protect those forces. So Sword's got to be careful, but he does still push, and I feel like this is definitely a big issue, because right now Sword has seen what his enemy's got. He knows that there are a lot of horsemen, and we see it's China horsemen, right? Like, there's double production here, and he's going to try and take this fight, but I mean, at this point, you're just too far forward. He's got the meta out. It's going to be taking a fair bit of damage on the front line, but still the horseman getting a beautiful surround there. He's actually picked up +1 ranged armor as well, so he's going to be surviving a little bit longer against these archers, only taking 4 damage a shot. But the horseman numbers are absolutely huge, and Sword making a massive mistake here. Now take a look at the villager difference already. Crackety up on 72 villagers 12 minutes into this game. Beautiful 2 TC Song Dynasty timing, and with that, able to subsequently clean up the entire mass right now from Sword. And this is, at this point, I feel like this is good game. Like, you can almost just basically call it at this point. At least that's the way I feel about it. And I think this is, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube at the moment, and you're wondering, okay, what can I take away from this game? We saw Sword right there. Okay, he saw exactly what his enemy was making. It was revealed to him early. And what did he do? He didn't fall back away from it. He tried to push the issue. He thought, you know what? I'm confident I can take those horsemen. There was so many horsemen there, and obviously your enemy's going to continue making more horsemen. We didn't see a single spear rallied across the map, and now we see spears coming out, but this is too late, because behind this, Crackety, as a good Chinese player, is now adding Chukunu. So plenty of Chukunu coming out, and he's going 3 archery ranges as well, 4 archery ranges. And how do you just come back from this? I mean, you know, we can talk about the strength of China all we like. We can say, yeah, China's busted, China's overpowered, and yeah, they're pretty damn good at the moment, but at the same time, Sword's made a very obvious mistake right now. So that's what I want you to take away from this game is, if your enemy shows you the cards that they've been dealt, or rather the cards that they've decided to draw for themselves, make sure you don't play into their hand, all right? You got to head back to the drawing board, retreat out as far away as you can from that, and make sure you get those reinforcements in, because that will keep your army alive. Obviously, Sword, though, he wanted to try and push the issue, but now we've got the numbers for the spearmen looking a little bit better, but the Chukunu are out here now. It's picked up +1 range attack as well. Villagers need to be careful here, but once again, Sword in a little bit of an awkward position. He's trying his best to pick them off. Villagers do have their textile upgrade. A little bit of a miss micro right there, but beautiful numbers now from Crackety. And in this, at this position right now, I feel like Crackety can probably just go 100% Chukunu. One thing to note is, in this matchup, Chukunu not the strongest unit just because of the meta. The meta does enable your enemy to take a pretty decent trade just because they get that extra ranged armor. It's able to reduce quite a large amount of your damage. But we do see walls now coming up on the south side of the map for Crackety. So he's really looking to play that Chinese style and into the mid game. 33 villager lead at the moment. It's a pretty big lead. We do start to see upgrades coming through. He's going for siege engineering and wheelbarrow himself, pushing out into the enemy base. Plenty of units here though for Sword, utilizing that Ottoman bonus. He's got the triple military school at the moment. We can see a little bit of a shuffle right there. Needs to get another meta out though. Doesn't have any meta in queue at the moment. Still under attack over here. Looks like the wolf has been taken out. The Chukunu in the middle of the map. Going to be trying to take out those spear before they're able to dish out too much damage, but the numbers here not the best for the Chukunu. +1 ranged armor helping out a lot for Sword. Beautiful micro coming in from Crackety though, doing the right thing, baiting forward, looking to try and bait out those spearmen, bring them forward, and as soon as they're all taken out, then the horsemen are able to go in because spearmen very effective up against the horsemen. He's liking his position right here, but even the Chukunu numbers are looking a little bit weak, so he's going to have to fall back away from this. Sword buys himself a little bit more time, so it's not over until the fat lady sings. It's important to remember, but obviously Crackety starting out with double TC Song Dynasty, it's very hard to fall behind from an early lead like that. You can see he is securing up this game as well. More and more of those walls coming in. He's looking very solid in this position. Keep in mind, Lipany, you've got plenty more berries on this map. So always able to move out across the map and look to try and avoid, or rather just delay that farm transition. It always feels great when you get to delay that farm transition. Got to be so careful right now. See the way he postures, looking for it. The Chukunu going to be able to get off some decent shots here. He brings the horseman up around to the north. Chukunu yet to really take out too many spearmen, and now we can see him shift clicking them down. Manages to take out a couple of horsemen, but this could be it right now. The numbers here of horsemen are pretty damn decent. He's also picked up the +1 ranged, or rather melee attack. And with this, even though the numbers are starting to look good for Sword, he's on 2 TC behind this, so he is almost able to keep up with Crackety. Crackety's really in a strong position at the moment, up by more than 30 villagers, almost 40 villagers now. And now the battering rams start to come down. This is where it gets really, really hard for Sword. He's already begun the farm transition, and I think that's really what hurts a lot for Sword. Now, he obviously had a lot of wood in the bank, so it wasn't something that was particularly difficult for him to transition into, but there are so many resources on this map. Looks like he's gone for Anatolian Hills as well. Plenty of resources down here on the south side. Has he got vision down there? He does. He knows what's down there. Yet still decides to go for a farm transition. So a lot of resources right now spent. More than 800 resources spent on farms. But obviously when you start talking about these numbers, it's a small difference, but we do see the clock tower coming up behind this. I'm curious what direction Crackety goes for once he ages up. I would suspect he just looks for veterancy on the Chukunu as well as +2 immediately. Let's see what he does. Yeah, that's exactly what he goes for. So veterancy on the Chukunu, +2 immediately. And then with this, he should be supervising both of these upgrades. Let's see. Supervising the first one, and is he supervising the second one? Indeed he is. So Crackety is just, you know, I'm a big fan of Crackety. He does not make mistakes with China. But we do see he's stacking up about 1,700 wood at the moment. So that is quite a lot of wood. But still he holds on. Veterancy yet to come through. There's the +2. There's the veterancy. He's able to hold on, and he gets both of those upgrades coming through at the perfect time. And that's going to mean he's able to just slice through his enemy like a hot knife through butter. Wonderful timing right there by Crackety. Absolutely calculated it. Managed to keep all the villagers alive. I think we see a single horseman on the ground there. But at this point in the game, he can just make 100% Chukunu. And there's nothing that his enemy can do. And we can see right now, he's got 10 more Chukunu in queue. And until Sword gets to the Castle Age, he's not able to deal with the Chukunu. He's going to need mangonels. He's going to need men-at-arms. It's the only way he can really deal with them here. And he's going to need that +2 ranged armor upgrade as well. Really, really important here against these Chukunu. Take a look at the numbers. 46 archers at the moment out for Sword. You can't help but feel like it's a bit of a dangerous game playing archer compositions up against the Chinese. We do see the meta is out. Looks like he's got it on attack speed for the moment. Let's double check and see. There's our meta. Yeah, he's got it on attack speed at the moment. I feel like you probably get a bit more value out of that +1 ranged armor, but I think when the Chukunu were doing this much damage, maybe it just doesn't even matter. Looks like we've got another outpost coming down on the south side. We'll take a look at Crackety's perspective. He's yet to actually explore out over on that west side of the map. We do see villagers moving forward. He's actually looking to head over to his enemy side of the map. Pick up some of the free berries that are over there. Who wants to farm transition? Not Crackety. Look at that. Not a single farm in this man's base. But there are plenty of barracks. 7 barracks now coming up, and he's going into full palace guards here. So very nice transition. 12 palace guards behind this. And now beginning to push in plenty of battering rams here. Age up still yet to happen for Sword. And this is where it gets so difficult for him, because he doesn't have that mangonel ready. He doesn't have any men-at-arms able to help him out, but it looks like he's switched over. He's got it on attack speed for now. Spahi numbers looking pretty decent. He should be able, and we do see a siege tower come out. He goes for the BM siege tower on the front line. Oh, Crackety here, don't do him like that. But we do see he gets a pretty decent surround on the backside. Spahi going to be using Fortitude as well. Chukunu coming in. Well, hold on, I might have to eat my hat right now, because we've got Sword looking pretty damn decent all of a sudden. I was just talking about the fact he was going to be able to make 100% Chukunu. And yet here we see him getting cleaned up completely good night, sweet Prince Crackety here. And now a window for Sword all of a sudden opens, but do note there's a 50 villager difference between these two players. Obviously, the other main difference to consider is the Ottomans have got those free units coming out non-stop. Other things as well, like the Twin Minaret Madrasa. But now going to have to fall back away from this position. Spy, he need to come out towards the Chukunu. Indeed, they do. And now we see those palace guards. He's also picked up +2 ranged armor. So he's only receiving 1 damage from each of these archers. There's a lot of archers out here as well. If we take a look at Sword, where did Sword had a whole bunch of resources stacked up and instead spends them on units instead of aging up. He's got 36 archers here, but keep in mind that's only 36 damage a rotation. He's going to need, what, 5 rotations on that to kill a palace guard? An individual palace guard is going to need 5 rotations. So it starts to get really difficult for Sword at this point. Now the numbers are looking a little bit better for Crackety. Behind this, we see 3 nested bees in queue for Crackety. He is pumping out the siege as well. Things starting to really look a little bit worse for Sword. I got excited for a second there. That sort of timing window was looking beautiful for him. But now, unfortunately, he's lost a lot of production on this front line. And a forward keep going to be coming down. Oh, my lord. I can't believe Crackety BM'd him. And he got cleaned up straight after it. But it's going to be a good game called. Crackety successful in this game. Fellas, if you're watching this one on YouTube, make sure you check out Crackety. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live. He's a great player, a good friend. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.